Rock and roll. Kia ora, everybody. What's up? It is Robett. Welcome to Robett Live. Another show rolling. Got the bro, Raniera, Rewiri, the plant-based Maori. How are you, bro?
Yeah, bro, doing real good. Thanks, bro.
Bro,
How you?
straight off the bat, I had to give you mic props. You rolling the Audio Technica ATR-2100 USB. You know what's popping. How's it
Yeah,
going?
bro. Nah, it's going good, bro. When I was like first getting into the podcast scene, I was just hard out looking into Tim Ferriss, and he was the one who was sort of like sharing all of the ideas about, because he's all about efficiency, he's all about just using the gear that works, that's going to do the job. And so done my research there, and then boom, just got it, and it was the most cost-effective option. And I just like how it's got the USB, as well
Yep.
as if you're going to upscale, you can sort of like have that input as well. So, bro, it does the job, man.
Yep, and the XLRN and the whole thing. Yep, I get it. I saw that straight away, and I was like, the bro knows what's up. The bro knows what's up.
Yeah.
So we haven't met before, but we've obviously got a mutual friend who keeps in mischief himself. Where are you based out of right now? And for those who aren't aware of who you are, what you do, the podcast, the content, the whole vibe, give the 101 for the crew.
Yeah, sweet. So, kia ora, everybody. My name's Raniera Rewiri, born and bred here in Whakatane, which is a little town in New Zealand. And it's what I call the center of the universe. Well, it's the center of mine anyway. Um, you know, just sort of like grew up real humble beginnings, and I don't think that's like something that's uncommon these days. I think it's sort of like everyone has their trials and tribulations, and especially coming from like a indigenous background, we all sort of like come from the same sort of backyard. So for me, sort of like touching on that, I think it's just like creating that picture of individuality, but also like we're all going through the same thing at the exact same time. So that's hard out where I started to really learn about, and I don't think I was conscious. I definitely wasn't aware of it growing up, the things like gratitude, but when I look back now, it's like those sort of experiences, knowing that, my mum was subconsciously instilling kindness, love, and resourcefulness to me. And I think I'm just starting to reflect at this stage of my life at the moment. So going through all my own lived experiences of heartbreak, of, losing jobs, and now just sort of like embarking on this journey of personal development, which has led me into learning so much about myself, as well as just creating different expressions of myself, which has moved me into this business space. And there's my business name there, Tupuanuku, if you can see it behind me. It's a food business, and it's basically just me wanting to share a part of my life that has really just improved the quality of my life, and that was going plant-based, going vegan a few years ago. And I've managed to build a business out of it, because being Maori and vegan, it just at the time was like not a thing that you could like see together. And for me, I think that's where the strength is, like so if I was just Maori, you can put yourself in one category there, but if you're vegan, you can put yourself in one category there. But bringing those two worlds together, I just found my point of difference. And so that's where I started to really just channel my energy, not in a space where I knew it was going to make a business, but in a space where this is where I feel I can provide value. So that just started to manifest into just scaling, into growing, into demand. So eventually got this food trailer that I'm standing in at the moment. But it's also my studio for the Planting Seeds podcast that I also am the host of. And the reason for the podcast was mainly just to invite people into hearing the awesome conversations that I have the privilege of being a part of. And I think that was the whole major thing during my own personal growth, was learning from other people, having these real in-depth conversations that help me to become a lot more mindful of my own thoughts, of the way that I was feeling, and trying to articulate that. So that was the whole purpose behind the Planting Seeds podcast, planting those seeds so that could eventually grow into something for the listeners. So that's me in a nutshell, and I'm loving it.
If anyone's had a chance to get onto your Instagram, plant-based Maori, or check out the podcast, or some of the visual snippets that come out of it, it's deceptively deep.
Oh yeah.
right? And when certain people look a certain way, you roll looking street, and then you hit them with some gnarly IQ shit. People, it freaks some people out, it disarms some others, and it's very cool to see, especially when you have that combination of I was thinking that, have you seen that YouTube video, and it's a cat on a Roomba wearing a shark suit, and it's going around, and it's just like a 12-second clip or something, and it's this cat like on a Roomba wearing a shark suit, and it's just this weird combo of shit, and you're like, what the fuck, what? And then, so exactly to your point, you're like plant-based Maori, tats, depth conversations, media, all this stuff. And it kind of, have you always felt that you were different, or after you got to start doing stuff publicly, you saw the optics coming back, and then you felt an energy shift? Because I think it's something that a few people can relate to.
Yeah, well, I think that's like it's a strange thing because growing up, I was just like your average kid, like there was no special talent. There was no sort of like foreseen, future of what I could become. There was no sort of like ambition in me, growing up. So I think for myself, it's just been like a massive journey of discovering like, what is my talent? What do I have to give? And just really just nurturing those kinds of questions and, slowly and surely. It's only recently, even when I just started to do the food trailer as well as the podcast, it's only recent that I'm actually starting to recognize that I have so much value to give, that I have a gift, that I have so much in me that I can still grow the capacity to do more. So it's not, I was never really a different kind of guy growing up, but I was always trying to fit in, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I was trying to fit in a sense of being accepted, because I don't know what was going over me when I was sort of young, but I was just a massive people pleaser, like,
I get it.
just wanting to be a part of different communities, wanting to be a part of different friend groups. And in all honesty, it happened that way. I've got so much friends because of me sort of being in that space. But what it helped me realize was my strength isn't that I'm a people pleaser. My strength is that I'm a connector. I'm really good at connecting with people. So that's what I'm just starting to maximize in at the moment.
Yeah, it's funny when you realize you've been the same the whole time, and then you just hit a point, you're like, stuff it, this is how I roll, and just do you, you know?
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly, mate.
I will say, how much easier is life after you hit that point, and it's like, stuff it, I'm doing me? How much free mental bandwidth do you have? How much free more time that you don't need to stress about bullshit? How freeing is it to just to get to a point you just do you, but genuinely?
It's so liberating, it's like one of my friends just explained it in a sense that the veil has been lifted. You see a lot more clearer. You feel like there's a bit more purpose behind every day. And so for me, it's as soon as I started to step into that, it's sort of like a drug that is so addictive, but it helps you in a super positive way, these endorphins, because there was a stage of my life where I abused drugs and alcohol, and I was just loving life. Like, when I look back, I have no regrets because I enjoyed every part of it. But now when I just have these sort of like moments where I'm just so grateful for how my life has unfolded and that I can unapologetically be myself.
Yeah,
Hey, can't beat
powerful.
it.
It's very powerful, and it's it's funny you said it's like it's a drug, because I've always said I'd rather, not the exact same words, but I'd rather like lose but me being me than win me not being me. Like that, to win your own way is so rewarding, even though the journey's so much tougher. And it's very clear that you've kind of got to that point as well. Because how old are you now, bro?
I just turned 28 on Tuesday.
Yeah. So awesome. Because even just that point that, say at 28, you feel content with who you are and how you roll and what you're here to do. And just like it's not like a negative stuff you to others. It's more just like hell yes for yourself, that this is who you are and this is how you roll. So many people will literally go through life and don't even get that. They don't
Yeah.
even get to that point. And so that's, I mean, good on you, bro.
And I
So
think that's why I'm so vocal
yeah.
in the way that I express myself. It's not necessarily to be boastful, but it's really to, like you said, I'm just being me. And a mantra that I sort of live by is that there's so much people who are directing messages and like, you need to do this. And I can talk on it because, I'm part of like a vegan community, and people within that community are just so direct, and they can actually do the opposite to what their purpose or intention is. And so for me, when I'm sort of looking at it in that context, it's like the best way that I know how to serve is to be the example of the message that I hope to share. And I think that's the whole nutshell of what sort of drives me to continuously share so much deep thought online, because it's
good.
who I am. And if it resonates, then I feel that enables people that opening to start their own personal journey.
Well, as well, it makes them start to challenge themselves on the optics of what they think it is, right? Um, it's very much, yeah, it's freeing, it's liberating. When you, what was the moment that decided you did to go to plant based? What was the hook? What was the moment? What was the your body was what all stuffed up, too much drugs and booze and shit? Or was it just you got fat? What was the moment? You watched the Game Changers? What was the hook?
It was none of that, eh? It was simply just curiosity. Like my best friend, he had been a vegan for a year, and we both moved back to our hometown at the exact same time. And I just moved home after traveling around the world for 6 months, and I moved back, and that's when I started to really, really tap into like, shit, I want to do something with my life. And so I knew that I wanted to work with young people, and I started to volunteer my time. I started to connect with people that were in that same space. And what I started to realize, I was sharing all these messages as doing like keynote speaking. And I was like, you can be anything that you want to be, just sort of reiterating what I had heard. And so for me, it was like, all right, if I'm saying these things to these young people, how am I actually representing that message? Like I said, how can I be an example of what I'm actually saying? And so I dedicated all of 2018 to grow myself as a person. And for those who are in this entrepreneurial space or personal development space, we all know that operates outside of our comfort zone. And so for 1 month, for the whole year of 2018, I just done a different challenge. That was like going takeaway free. That was going, doing 100 press ups a day, and just monitoring my own personal growth. And part of that whole journey was going vegan in the month of May. And that's basically all it was. There was a 1 month challenge that turned into a lifelong commitment because of how I felt, what I learned, as well as the underlying values that I wanted to sort of have in my life, like things like gratitude, compassion, kindness, love. Those were the attributes that I was sort of hoping to acquire. And this lifestyle has enabled me to embody those things. And not to say that you can't without it, but for me at that particular time, that's what really sort of attracted me to continue this journey.
So yours wasn't even a moral or ethical thing. It was just
Nah,
literally,
it was
it was
just
a,
curious.
here's a challenge. My body's doing better. The shit must be good. Let's double down. And then you got educated.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And because I was already fit, I was already healthy, I was already aesthetically sort of like in a good space. So there was no sort of like mental barrier or physical barrier or anything that was going on in my life. It was like simply just trying to challenge my comfort zone. And what came out of that was a real defining and pinnacle moment that's just changed the course of my life in the most profound way.
That's cool, dude. We've got a question. Fart in your face says, if you smothered KFC in potato and gravy, does it still count as vegan?
Oh, farts in your face.
And then Funny says, if I became vegan, can I still pick up chicks? Oh, so good. Oh, jeez. What's the...
I like how we use chicks because it's relevant to like KFC.
It's like, I see what he did there. I don't know if he got the meta layering on it, but I see what he did there.
Yeah.
So let's jump into this spot. So right now with Corona, your business is, you've got a content play and a commercial play. The commercial play is food. What's the what can and can't you do, and where can and can't you go, and what does this mean for your business? How has this tweaked and changed your commercial world right now?
Well, we've basically been frozen ever since we went into level 4 lockdown, just because we're not classified as a essential sort of business. And what we
Food is
did,
essential.
yeah, it is, but not our particular business, unfortunately, because the main reason is when I was doing my reading up on is that the health regulators and all of those kinds of people who give you the certs and the food control plans, they need to come and see how you're handling the food and how it's actually sort of being prepared and delivered and all of those kinds of things. And there's just no way to track that. So that sort of like put a halt on our business. But when we move into level 3, we'll be able to do like a ordering sort of service, like ready-made meals and those kinds of things. So that's what we're just starting to prep for at the moment.
So let's talk through there for a second. At the moment, if you're in food and beverage or hospitality, day comes along, boom, shut down, doors closed, done. Now, have you thought about specifically every single product and service and offering that you're going to do at each level going on the way down, and how you're going to navigate that between content that you create online versus products that you sell in person, how you get down to the market? I guess strategically, where's your brain gone to with how you'll amplify your message or business to sort of get back turning fast? What are some because tourism and hospitality have been just smoked right now, but the good news for you is you can open your doors and you can get dollars. Tourism is obviously a little bit harder. Where's your headspace gone to strategically with what products and services you do to the market?
I think at the moment it's just heavily trying to create a resource that could go online, so it's not really reliant on a physical product, because even when we do open our doors, there's still a possibility that people won't be buying any food because of the restrictions on them earning an income and kinds of things like that. So we're also preparing for that sort of phase, that I don't expect us for our doors to open and then boom, we just start getting sales. So for me, a big chunk of this whole entire lockdown has been trying to be resourceful and trying to create an online resource that could help people sort of navigate their personal development journey, or even just dabble their toes in what a plant-based lifestyle is, because it's not really food, it's like a complete outlook on life. And so just developing something in that space, because once it's created, it's out there for everyone to explore.
It's weightless.
It's weightless, exactly. And it's as well as it's limitless, because there's so much people who can't physically come to our trailer who really, really do support us. So it's not only doing it on our end to be able to create some income or create this resource, but it's also an opportunity for people who can't physically get here to sort of like be involved in some of the work that we're doing. So that's where the mindset is at the moment, doing things like cooking tutorials on Facebook just to try and generate that interest as well as value. And then we're just going to move into doing ready-made meals. And then hopefully by that time, we've got enough momentum to open up our doors and get ready to go again.
So yeah, it's interesting storytelling with social that links back into it. When you keep saying we and our, who's we and our?
So we is my fiance.
Oi!
So this is our business. I started it because we went together when I first started this whole idea, but it's manifested into what it is, and there's no way I can manage and do this all on my own. So my partner was able to finish work last year, and we've just been going hard in this together. So she's the backbone of this whole operations, because there's been times where I've just wanted to cry, because I've literally been on my knees in this trailer and I've legit had tears coming out of my eyes because of my foolishness, my naiveness, my lack of mindfulness around certain things, and a big, huge crack just happened in our floor because of something that I had done. And she was the one who was able to keep a level head as well as just create a solution on the spot. So I think it's vital to have that kind of support when you're moving through the space, if it's available, especially if you're in like a service, especially in food. It's just, I think it's really, really a space like the hospitality scene. I think people don't realize how much like stress work comes into this. So yeah, I think for me to have her here, it's amazing, bro. I'm very grateful, even though I get pissed off at times.
Oh, I think that's why she's the fiance and not the girlfriend.
That's it, but you can't run away from me, man.
What advice would you give other couples that are in business right now? Because obviously, you might be the plant-based Maori, but it's very clear that you have a deeper sense of overall well-being for relationships, soul, balance, empathy, energy, all the rest of it. So if you're in a if you're in a partnership right now going through tough shit, how would you? What advice would you give?
I think the thing that we've been working on lately is just been setting boundaries. Like there was a time when we first started, I was just so headstrong where I just wanted to go, go, go. And I think it's very common with couples who sort of like go into business that the focus is the business, where you sort of like lose that quality time and presence with one another. So what we started to realize was like I was so focused on the business, and that's what was filling me at the moment at that time. And my partner was there just really just wanting us to sort of like have that time. So it really took like a breaking point for us to sort of like realize and put these boundaries in place, because it's not a healthy thing when you're around each other all the time. And I mean around each other all the time, working together, living together, working out together, everything is just together, but miss each other. And I think that's when things just started to unravel. We're around each other, but we missed each other. And so we just took a week off and we just worked on ourselves, because at the end of the day, when I really bring it right back to my core, what is most important? Like, why am I working so hard for? Why are we working so hard for? We're doing it for one another, but yet we're not there for one another. So we just started to like, what does boundaries look like? What are the roles that we know we can do? And how do we also, the thing for me at the moment is I'm just trying to learn the art of letting go, right? Just letting go, because she's a lot younger than me, and I tend to be that strict and strict boyfriend, or the one who always says no. But what I've learned, it's exactly that. But what it was is because I just, in this relationship, I just
Oh, don't say we lost you. Come back. Oh, we lost him. No. Yes, you back? You back? You there, bro?
glitching.
I got you. Oh,
Yep, I'm here. I'm here.
okay. What happened? Did you run out of power on your laptop?
No,
Oh, I'm losing you again.
are we all good now, though?
Yes. Whatever that is, leave it right there.
Hold up.
What have you done? Has the trailer gone 2G?
Oh, far out. So we back, are we?
What happened? The technology was working. We were rolling. We just got a comment that says, "No, that's right at the juicy bit."
The universe mustn't have wanted me to go into that detail, bro.
That could be accurate. Shane says, "Tēnā koe robett Raniera. I've been following the Plain Seas podcast for some time. Maori and mahi to you both. Shot, bro. Appreciate it."
Tēnā koe, bro.
If he's a counsellor for Ellesmere, he sounds like he's some political sway. How about you flip and get plant-based Maori branding all up in your shit? Shane also says, where do you see your business pivoting to now? Online delivery? Well, obviously, I think it sounds like you got an online educational play and then some more content commerce, which is going to plug in the back of it.
Yeah, that's definitely where we're at the moment. It's just trying to move online as well as just trying to improvise of like, all right, what can we do if our doors are closed? So yep, online delivery service. We started to do it at the start, but that just got shut down. So yeah, it's also I think at the moment because we're in a sort of space, we need like a physical. Am I cutting out again, or am I right?
A little bit.
Hold on.
A little bit.
Sorry, let me just
Are you
quickly.
right? You don't have that 5G shit popping yet in the trailer. Or maybe are you connecting it from your phone? Are you hotspotting off your phone? Shane, Shot Brothers. Appreciate it, Shane. Sounds like you're a flipping weapon. Rowena, back to the girlfriend. Oh, he was going good on the girlfriend banter. Rowena Dunn says, Kia kaha Raniera. Sorting that relationship is very important. Whakarorangatea. Nice, bro. Nice, Rowena. Appreciate it. Well done. Oh, I'm going to ask. I'm wondering if he's hotspotting off a flipping iPhone 5 with 3G, or he's got Wi-Fi connection, which is an Ethernet plugged in to the cable direct into the cable. Oh, he's gone. No! Come back, you bastard. Fart in your face. Vegan connection, huh? Fart in your face. You are totally winning the troll game today. Start off good. If something, if you saw the KFC potato and gravy, does it still count as vegan? It's so good. If I became vegan, can I still pick up chicks? What fart face? If you're really smart, you would have understood the double entendre there. Okay, boom. I think we're back. Oh, no microphone. Are you on your cell?
God damn, bro! I don't know what the hell's going on, bro.
Well, you just missed it. Fart in your face came back and said vegan connection, huh? It's so good.
Oh, come on, fart in your face.
So let's talk. You did all the research to get the right microphone from Tim Ferriss, but
Yep.
Are you sending smoke signals for your internet connection? What is happening?
Yeah, I think it's the internet connection because sometimes it just trips in and out being in the actual trailer. So
Yeah.
I've just opened up all the doors and for some reason it's just like getting a bit stronger now. So
The Wi-Fi connection can see to the router. The ninja move is you buy a 10 or 20 meter Ethernet extension plug-in and you get the dongle so it goes straight, and then you at least get that and don't need to stress the Wi-Fi thing. But it's all
right,
G.
is there can you actually do that? Like say you bought one of those, can you actually get another one if you want it in another room?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, you
totally.
can do multi? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, you can sync them up. The Google home ones. Worst case, you can just run an Ethernet cable out to the mix, which way you can do it. So let's jump back to the girlfriend, Rowena. So she saved you. You've been a dick, and then you're sweet.
Yeah. So so I think I got to a point where it's sort of like letting go, right? It's because for me there was a lot of like, I think I could even like say there was a bit of ego involved, like, I've been through the personal development journey, I know all of these and it's not just internalizing.
It's like CrossFitters trying to talk to other people about CrossFit. Oh, you haven't done that? What? Gee, you don't know.
So it's sort of like when something gets brought up, if I have that hat on and I can almost foresee a mistake or something sort of like that can unfold without her being mindful about that. So that's when I sort of step in and sort of like shut it down, as opposed to just letting go and allowing her to have that experience. And I think people can view it as controlling or like being strict, but in my true nature, it's just more about protection. Like, and like, I don't want her to go through anything that she might not want to go through, but that's not up to me. And that's where I'm saying like the art of letting go is something that I feel is just helping our relationship at the moment, as well as setting those boundaries, because it sucks, bro. It sucks when you're so pissed off at each other, but you got to work because
you got to work. Yeah.
That honestly, bro, that translates in the food, as well as when customers are coming up, it messes with the energy and the aura of of what we're actually wanting to give. So for us, it's really about taking responsibility of our own cup and like what makes us feel happy. What do you need to do today for yourself that gets you in a good space? So when we come together, we're just humming. And when we're in that sort of space, far out, what we can achieve is just incredible.
1 + 1 = 10 when you do it right.
Oh, I love that. Not window.
Yeah. So why the trailer?
Well, it just felt like the next progression for us. So we're doing a whole lot of markets, a whole lot of events around the country. And while we were sort of setting up at these markets and events, we just saw like trailers and we just realized like far out, it'll be so much easier if we just had a trailer, because we won't have to pack up, we won't have to set up, we won't have to have all of these niggly things. And it's also that sort of feeling of professionalism where we saw that the people who had trailers, people would naturally be attracted to them. So for us, it was like, all right, let's put our mind on getting a food trailer. And I've never been that great with money. So in order to get this, we had a crowdfunding app. We went crowdfunding and we're able to source the money for this in the matter of 2 hours.
That's awesome. Talk me through that. That's epic.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, hadn't been good with money, and the money that was being made within those events was like, cool, we've got this money, let's go and have an Airbnb weekend in Rotorua. There was nothing sort of like being put away for the business. It was like, sweet, because in the business term, just learning, you didn't make that money, the business made that money.
Yeah.
But what we were doing is we were spending that money like we had earned it, where it was the wrong way to do so. Just shot ourselves in the foot, and had just started to get in touch with some really awesome people who were just really encouraging me to just jump in terms of doing the crowdfunding. The amount of value they were saying that I was giving, throughout the last years just for free. There are people who want to give. So just step into vulnerability, put yourself out there, and just allow that and just see what happens and put it up. And yeah, bro, in 2 hours, all of the money was raised and then some. So yeah,
good.
it was.
So then you went to Rotorua.
Yeah. So went to go and started to look for where we can buy a trailer. But all the trailers that we were sort of seeing online, they were all run down. There was heaps of maintenance. So we decided to get it built from scratch, and it ended up being cheaper. And then my father-in-law and my mother-in-law just decked out all of the inside. So yeah, and that's sort of like how we've been doing, and it's been incredible.
Bro, good on you. So with Corona now, you're paused, you've got a plan for when it goes 3, 2, 1 to get rolling again. What's your biggest concern for the future of this sort of community? What's your concern about community after this, or that they're potentially going through right now?
Hadn't put too much thought to that, to be honest. The only thing, are you talking about my community specifically?
Yeah.
Or just, I think the thing is like, well, my biggest concern at the moment is like just being able to be like being in lockdown for so long and then slowly sort of like getting back to normal. I think that alone is just going to be like a process that's just not going to happen like that. So I think people are just going to be a bit more mindful about where they're going, about what they're spending their money on, especially for those ones who aren't really working yet. So I think there's just going to be a longer period. And I think even when we're starting to think about the economy, like we're going to get hit like even harder at some point. Like what we're experiencing now is just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like something else is going to happen down the line. And so it's about just being mindful about that. I don't want to shove sales down people's throats if they don't really have the money to do it. But, we're just going to continue to turn up, and we're just going to just try and have adaptability on our mindset when we're just sort of moving through it, because, the ebbs and flows of business are just crucial. But the thing that's heavy on my heart at the moment is, if we can sustain it through this, if we can get through this, if we can even make money on top of it, even through online resources or anything, I know we're going to do really well when the economy starts to ramp back up. So that's all that I'm sort of feeling at the moment.
So can you name 5 people your age, your lane that look like you, that roll like you, that talk about the stuff that you're talking about?
Yes.
You can
Yep.
publicly.
Yep. So there's my best mate, Te Haunu Tuna. Like we've been on the same journey forever. There's Ray Brown, who lives over in Australia. There's the bro Tiare Tawera, his partner Lacey Gartner. There is my brother Isaac Carlson down in Wellington. There is, who else is someone that I can name? Because I'm regularly having these conversations, and I feel like I'm only attracted to people who are on the same sort of like mindset and view of thinking. And those five people there are my brother Telmo McLean and my brother James Meritor.
Bro,
So,
how many brothers do you have? You flipping from like Utah or some shit? Jeez.
so
You
these are
can't name
like,
like four of the five be your brothers. But space them out as
but that's like my thing, you know. Like I actually grew up with no brothers. I'm the only boy, and there's me and my sister, and then we've got three half sisters. So I feel like that's why I have that harder connection to
No, I
when
get
I
it.
say brothers is
So-
like because I've never had it.
So my brain goes. So in certain realms, you usually can't name five that are in the same thing. You're in a spot that's a lot bigger than food, so instantly you kind of go to that collective thought around community, around, you know, if you're saying 1 + 1 = 10 with your partner, and there's a collective of you that are in the same vibe of things and same energy. Literally, you're one move away from a movement. You know.
Yeah. And I think it's like and I'm part of like a few big sort of like groups that have that sort of way of thinking and that sort of positive outlook on life, but also just knowing the real vulnerability as well as the challenges that are in things. And for me, I'm just very, very, very mindful about who I engage with, the type of connections that I create, because I hard out know the impact of just one bad orange in that fruit bowl. So for me, it's just about, you know, if people aren't on the vibe, I'm okay with not having that conversation with someone. So for me, it's just about, sweet, I know who my tribe is, and if I need a pick me up, if I need a kick in the ass, if I need a punch in the face, I know exactly who to go to. And I'm so fortunate to have these amazing people around me.
Yeah, it's tough when you've got such care for commerce and people with depth, but then you run in a commercial outlet which is transactional and balancing off that. How have you balanced off between, I guess, depth of emotion with width of commerce?
Yeah, so that's something that I'm starting to sort of like think heavily about at the moment, because, you know, there is a lot of depth, you know, that translate to a particular type of person. But how am I able to like broaden that, you know, broaden that net? How can I make that net wider? And for me, it's just about the thing that's non-negotiable is me changing. Like I'm not changing. I don't care how much less sales I have, how much more sales I gain. Like that's non-negotiable. So for me, at the end of the day, it's like whoever vibes with it, they're gonna vibe. And I feel it's just continuously growing, because what I know that I'm confident in is our product. I know what we can create, and the people behind that creation, it's a different type of energy as well. So I feel that is another transaction that is helping us at the moment.
Have you done any digging into how Ben and Jerry's actually made their money?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Okay, it's a really interesting case study into brand. So Ben and Jerry's, obviously Ben and Jerry, they had, I feel the number was 17 different bricks and mortar outlets that they had, ice cream shops, right, all over the show. Boom, 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 boom. And the numbers might be off by a couple, but you know, you get the gist. And it's always hand to mouth. It was always just like slow organic growth, but not success, right?
Right.
The second they got distribution into supermarkets that had brand associated with the product that had distribution, that's when Ben and Jerry's won. And so what they realized had happened was they'd actually built a brand that had community and cult following around what the brand represented, and people trusted the brand, and they got the upside of it without physically having to be there. So, you know, when you in a spot, that you're in, and you look at those that you're around you and say, well, where's the weak spot? What can you do? And as I said, like it really feels, I mean, obviously we just met and just broing down, but man, it really feels that you're one move away from product and platform,
Mm,
which is exciting, right? Because you can feel it. And
yeah.
especially when you know exactly to your point before, you know that you're not changing shit. This is how you roll. This is what you love. This is what you represent. This is what I'm about. This is how I'm going to talk. This is how I'm going to dress. This is what I'm like. Yes. Simultaneously, what's that ninja move that then takes it
Yeah.
from moment to movement? That's where the strategy piece comes in. And man, it's going to be super interesting to see, one or two little ninja moves that you could do. Because obviously, when you've got, it's clear that this is more than food for you. This is bigger. What would
Mm.
it be bigger than food? How do you surmise it in your head? Because obviously the brand is plant-based Maori as an individual. What is it that's bigger that you're seeing or feeling?
Um, like it's for me, it's sort of just like a cliche thing of like it's just life in general, man. Like frick's sakes, like for me, food has just been like the vehicle, the introduction that's really given me the path to fully express. And I think if for me the bigger version is just trying to create that opening for other people to embark on it. If it's through food, then sweet. If it's through one podcast episode, even better. But in terms of like the ninja move, there's been heaps of people in my corner sort of like suggesting the same thing, saying that I need a product because the brand's there, but if there was like a proper product that could go global in terms of like perhaps a protein powder or like one of our foods that we could just put out there, because one mentor said, if you have that one product, you could sell that product to multiple different people in different countries, and then you could go along to those things. So for me, like, I just want to go back to what you said about Ben and Jerry's. Like, the thing that I hard out mess with, that I fuck with, is sustainable growth. I'm not about that. I'm not interested in scaling so damn quick,
Yeah,
because
if it
I know the
loses.
formula of growth, right? The systems have to match the growth, the capacity to be able to grow more. So for me, we don't have the correct systems in place. It's only a two-man team in order to run a food business at the moment. So our next step is like, how can we build a team? How can we be in multiple places at one time so we can have more brand awareness? So our strategy at the moment is, who can we bring in? Can we create enough resources to perhaps build another trailer? Because at the moment we have to stay within our permanent location to make that our spot. So when people want some tupu anuku, some vegan food from myself and my fiance, they know exactly where to go. But what happened when we're in that space was we were getting opportunities to do catering, to go into different events, but we can't because we're in one place. So at the moment, we're just trying to build the capacity to be able to be in multiple places at the same time. So that's what we're hoping to achieve in the next year. And then hopefully through that whole process, we'll be able to find our next move. But, just talking like this is like sort of like where our headspace is at the
It's great.
moment.
It's great. So with Tupu Anuku, do you see? And I'm always just really inquisitive, and I'm curious. I'm always curious. Do you, when you look at the New Zealand food sector, is all the food some type of, is there always like a Maori cultural component within each part, and you don't go wider? You're obviously not doing obviously fried chicken or any other shit, but like the brand in itself. Because I just went to like, well, who's the Maori food brand of New Zealand? What is the
Yeah.
the Tegels for Maoridom? What is the tip top for Maoridom? What all that's healthy Maori food? Is there? I mean, I don't know the food world at all. I obviously know there's these clusters and pockets that have got together. Is there a healthy, clean Maori food brand that has mass distribution in supermarkets in New Zealand? Oh, piss off, internet! Fuck! We're about to hit the hammer. Shit! Team, if you're as frustrated as me, please comment. Yes, frustrated. Shit, damn it. What the fuck? Like, no. Okay, I'm gonna wait this thing out. If you're listening to this right now and you think there's a ninja move that he could do, what would it be? Comment it down. The challenge, if you are watching this right now, literally ask, what could the ninja move be? If you were him, what would you do right now? Because it's very clear that it's bigger than food. It's bigger than just the product of him being a plant-based Maori. This is very clear that there is something that is bubbling, that is mega and
All
massive.
right.
Oh, please be back. What? Honestly, this is
Bro,
vegan
I'm
connection,
so sorry,
bro.
I'm
Your-
so sorry, bro.
Your vegan connection. Fart in your face was right. He said vegan connection.
What's happening is like I feel just the placement of where we are is just not good at the moment, and every other part of our house is not that like aesthetically appealing. So for us, it's sort of like this is like the best place for it, bro.
Hey.
Unfortunately,
No, get it. Okay. We were just about to
Food.
throw the hammer. I think I
Yeah.
had crafted something along the lines that said, I'm just trying to reverse. I don't know much about the food in the ecosystem within Māoridom. If it's Māori brand food, who's the Māori brand of Teagles or Tip Top? Who owns that space that has mass distribution in supermarkets? I feel that's what I said.
Yeah.
Who is that brand? What is that platform? Does it exist? Who is it? What's that landscape? Because it's clear that yours is bigger than just a product.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't think there is someone who is sort of like owning that space at that level. But I am aware of some amazing Māori cuisine sort of enthusiasts out there who are sort of like creating a name for themselves, not particularly in a product, but definitely in like a particular restaurant. And they're called Hiakai down in Wellington. Like incredible what she's actually doing with Maori food, Maori ingredients. So for me in general, in terms of like that space, like I'm not really adding any Maori infused food to like vegan kai, because at the end of the day, the market that's coming in, 95% of our customers are meat eaters, are dairy eaters. Only 5% of our customers would be vegetarian, vegan. So what we're doing is our menu is actually a menu that people can relate to, things like burritos, tacos, burgers, and a few salad options. So that's where our market is, because in a small town like Whakatane, if we had things like Boil Up or something like that, and we went to a vegan fest over in Tauranga last year, and there was actually a business there who was doing like vegan hangis, vegan bread, that's like a rewana in that, and she didn't do that well. So vegans or people aren't really like looking for Maori food in this space at the moment. And so there was an idea of like me trying to create a dessert around fry bread and infusing it with chocolate and different fillings. So there's ideas that we're starting to think about, because honestly, all these amazing food places, they just have one dish and there's lines.
It's a banger. Yeah.
And it's a banger. There's one in Tauranga.
Banger, yep.
They're called Hello Rosie, and they're the vegan junk food, and they always have lines because of their donuts. So for us, it's about like, what can we create
There you go.
that can have that kind of impact? So at the end of the day, bro, me and my fiance, bro, we're not chefs, we're not like foodies, like we know what we like, but we're not really anything special. We just know how to cook with food. So we just got to like
that is
upskill.
special.
Yeah,
That is special.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You should see the photos of my burnt toasted flipping cheese sandwiches. This flipping quarantine shit is just
Come on, fart in my face. Say something to that, bro.
Yeah.
There's two of us in this, man.
Yeah, stuff you fart in your face. There's a guy. Do you know a guy, Jason Wittaheda?
No.
Have you heard of him?
No.
So he's a bro. He owns the New World in Victoria Park in Auckland. He'd be an awesome guy just to get some big thinking around this sort of shit. It's amazing. But anyway, I know we can go. I'm surprised. I mean, your name has popped up a couple of times. I always wait. There's this thing of the rules of three. Anytime someone names the first time, because everyone talks about everyone, it's like cool. If I hear a name first, I'm like, all right, cool. I remember it. Good. I hear one a second time within a short distance. I'm like, okay, momentum. Third time fast, I'm like, okay, boom, go. And it was funny because obviously when our bro had connected us, that was more than the third time in a totally small spot. So I'm glad we got to finally connect up and bro down. So it's cool, man. But obviously it's, I guess, a bit weird live, but the same thing as if we were in person, we'd be talking about the same shit. So I don't really care. So it's great.
That's it, bro. That's it.
It's back to your point about the authenticity thing. As long as you're just doing you, it's like you don't give a shit. And it's also
That's
for context.
the key.
For context as well, for those who are watching, Raniera, just before we went on, he was like, "So I don't really know you. So what's your deal? What are you up to?" I was like, "Oh, bro, it's all good." Yeah, so he was like, "We'll get there. We'll get there." No, it's mean, bro. So if people are wanting to support you, back you, look into what you're doing, how you're doing it, obviously you're on the Instagram, the plant-based Maori. Where else can they go? What can they do if someone wants to get behind you and what you're doing? How can they support you and your awesome
Um,
fiance, who's clearly amazing, that doesn't make you sleep on the couch?
so for yeah, if you want to like find me anywhere, it's honestly plant-based Maori across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And then you're also, if you're keen on like listening to some of the conversations that I have on my podcast, it's Planting Seeds on Instagram, or on iTunes, on Spotify, as well as on YouTube as well. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I don't have like a magical, amazing website and everything like that, but everything is basically under the plant-based Maori. So yeah, check it out.
There you go. Appreciate your time, brother. It's awesome to connect and talk shit. Obviously, we haven't bro down before, and obviously I think this is maybe interview maybe 64 or 65 in the last 3 weeks. I've just been going to town on these things. It's been aggressive, but I know that I feel a duty to be doing this because in a time like this, there is a lot of negative energy and there's a lot of fear and a lot of thing. And so what I know I have is this a huge privilege, which is my access to people that I'm able to talk to about things that aren't being talked about publicly, or to give other people that aren't inside certain circles access to insights and intel. So I really appreciate that you've given the time, and obviously we've got a mutual bro, so that's all G as well. But mate, when I'm back, I'm gonna come up there and we're gonna flip and we're gonna 2.0 this shit. If I can help you, let me know, bro. I've got you back. So no, I appreciate it, brother, and
Oh, bro.
love the chat, bro. Mean.
Thank you so much, Brian. Like you said, bro, didn't really like know each other too much. But one thing that I know is that, you know, when you have these high trust relationships with like people within your circle, and like you said, if they recommend something, you just got to surrender to that and trust their judgment, because at the end of the day, they have your best interest at heart and they know how to connect you with the right people. So that's what really like got me in here, bro. And I'm so glad, you know, because, bro, I feel like you got so much value there to give, bro. So I'm just gonna go on a rampage and just like learn everything about you, bro. You might have to jump on my podcast, bro. Straight up,
bro. I'd love to. We can go deceptively deep, and that's why I think I'd almost, if I'm being truly honest, potentially resonated more than most, because it was very clear. Obviously, I've seen you from afar. Is deceptively deep. And when sometimes the optics of what the exterior is so disconnected from the fundamentals of who you truly are, it's something that I can relate to, probably more so in the world of, I guess, corporate and commerce and all the rest of it. So big ups, big love, mad respect, and props to you and wifey. And I will, when Christmas is coming up, I'm going to buy you a 30-meter long Ethernet cable to go from your modem
I was wondering if you caught that hint, bro.
Oh, shut, brother. I love your work, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, too much. Thanks,
Shut, G. Later, bro.
Later.
Oh, so good. Shit, that was good. Oh, jeez. All right. So if you're out there and you've been watching and listening and you think you can help him in any way, reach out, support the bro. I think it's awesome. Energy like that from people was so good. New Zealand needs more of it. And it was funny because I actually got kind of took off when I said, name 5 people who look like you, roll like you, that are into what you're into. Usually when you're that wide up, you don't have a crew. It's clear there's a crew, which means he's literally one move away from a movement, which gets me very excited for positivity, momentum, potential professional stuff, which can roll forward. Chantel, really enjoyed this. Missy Chantel, OG Snow Mafia. And that's it. Good yarns. This is, and if you haven't clicked by now with these chats, this is literally that, because my backlog of people that I know going through shit, I know chats like this either give positivity, some escapism, some new ideas, some different ways of thinking, and everything else as well. So we're trying to get as wide as possible, hook up with as many different people as possible all over the show through the Rolodex. And so far, I've only really messed with people that are in my circle. He's probably one of the first that I actually haven't met in person. I'll be upfront about that. So it's not just like I know flipping everyone. There's a lot of people I know. There's a lot of people I don't know. So far, it's been the majority of people that I know, which has been good. But we have a mutual connection who we both trust that has made the link. So props to you, the bro, without having to drop names and do the rest of it. So, all right, jeez, I'm not gonna lie, team. I'm off. I'm gonna go play with the whānau for a little bit and go hang, do the dad thing. I got two daughters under two. It is carnage. My wife has been an absolute legend. While I've been doing all this shit, she is holding shit down at home, and I have been doing my thing to help you. I'm gonna do that. Be back in a little bit. Shot team, good mission. See you in a bit. Stay safe. Stay smiling. I'll see you soon. Peace. It's 5 hours ahead. Whiskey time. Who cares?